adventurers. Welcome to Adventurous Spirits. This is a weekly musical podcast. It is all about helping each of us and encouraging us on our wide, deep, long adventures in life. It's a very windy path, whether it's a path that you know to follow or a path that you're discovering as you follow it. Whether it's in life, health, career, family, creativity, all of the potential adventurous areas of life. It all takes growth, it all takes effort, it all takes sweat. And so we are here to do that together. So welcome. This world is full of intimidating but thrilling endeavors, and we are people who pursue those thrilling and intimidating endeavors. So let's come together around this chat, around the comments, around wherever you happen to be listening to my voice right now, and just support one another. Remind each other of the goal. Remind each other of how far we've come. That's why I'm here. Because I think we're all headed towards something valuable and worthwhile, and it's easy to lose track. It's easy to lose track along the way. So this is episode 26 of Adventurous Spirits, and it is titled Effectiveness versus Productivity, or Effective versus Productive. That's actually the title. Effective versus Productive. What does that say to you when you hear those words? Does that sound like, oh, I understand what that means? Does it need a little more clarification? I think it has different connotations given the context. I always want to dive into the topic before I've really completed my intro, so let me just tell you who I am. I'm your host on this particular episode of this adventure, Cortney Matz, and I'll be serenading you all along the way because, every personal growth journey needs a good soundtrack. And so let's do this together. So as I was saying, what do those words mean to you? How do they feel to you? Effectiveness, productive, effective, productive. And my big question of the day is, what makes you feel successful? Do you feel successful when you can see a whole long list of things that you've done that are finished? Check, 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 check. Do you like to write down something that you just did and add it to your to-do list and then check it off? Does that make you feel successful? These are honest questions. I think we all have different feelings about these things. Personally, I like to see progress towards a big goal. I like to feel good in my life. And if I have been experiencing a similar pain point for longer than, 5 minutes, then sometimes I feel a little like I'm failing, like I'm not achieving what I set out to do, which is to create a cool, adventurous life that I can be proud of. So that's part of my feelings of success. The other part is I like to know what's necessary for today. I feel less productive or less dependent on productivity than I used to. Because I think it's very easy to just be busy and to just do a lot of things. I don't find as much satisfaction in that anymore. I wouldn't say that was always the case, but currently I do not feel as much satisfaction in being busy. But when I can say, today I had one big thing to do, which was prepare for this meeting, and I showed up and I was prepared, and I led the meeting, and the meeting went well. Everyone was served. Everybody is content. I feel successful with this day. When I can define it like that, that's really helpful to me. And that's a discipline, that's a habit, that's a thing to do on purpose every day, to say, okay, today's Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. Given all my options of places to put my precious time and energy, what's the most important one? Because here's another little secret. Some of you have already figured this out. Some of you forgot. It's not always up to you to know where your time and energy goes. There are technical challenges. There are people that show up needing you. There are surprise meetings. There are things that go wrong. And it's not always bad, but it just reroutes you. It redirects you from your intentions for the day. So it's helpful to have that one goal to keep coming back to. This is my priority for today. Let's see, let's check in with the chat. Steve is here. Hello, Steve. He says, I always add things to my to-do list after the fact and check them off. It's immensely satisfying. That is a wonderful word. Immensely satisfying. Super. I am glad. These are important things to know about ourselves. So I'm going to kick us off on our first song here today. It's not really about being productive, but it is about being effective and the unknownness of those efforts. So here we go. Walking up this mountain, can't stop thinking about us. Not knowing where we're going or what happens at the top. Maybe there'll be safety, maybe sanity, maybe not. All I seem to know now is I can't get there by myself. Home, sweet home. Lost my footing and broke away. depths of treasure I never knew. Nowhere near the bottom, and I can't get there without you. I don't think I have to ask you if you have taken a risk in your life, if you have put all of your efforts into an endeavor that didn't turn out the way you expected. That is a very common experience. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that we've all been there multiple times. And I also just think that is how life is. We do the best we can with the knowledge that we have and see what happens. And that's part of the adventure of life. Get surprise results. Whether it's in the area of home, like I was just singing about. I mean, who really ever knows the people that they end up with in life, how that's gonna go? Pardon me. But you can easily take that metaphor and extend it to creativity, your personal financial goals, how you do your job, the kinds of job that you go for, really any risk. All risk is uncertain. That's just the nature of it. Even if it's a calculated risk. So when I think about effectiveness, I take that into account. You know, I think it is worth recognizing if I don't feel, in the big picture, if I don't feel effective in my life, that's not necessarily because I didn't try. And it doesn't even mean that my efforts were not effective. Sometimes it just means that I haven't seen how this all plays out yet. The story is not over. And I will give a small example. So I've been teaching these songwriting workshops. You may have seen an announcement here or there. I've led 2 this month. I did one that was about writing songs and kind of learning how to connect with your insides and your feelings through songwriting, called Self-Care Through Songwriting. And the other one is finishing your song. And in both cases, I have to create in front of my workshop participants. And I'm asking them to do the same, but it's a little bit different for me because I'm actually here in real time at the piano creating in front of them. So we take time away and we work on things separately. But meanwhile, I'm like giving them examples right in the moment. And I think that is a helpful thing to do, but it makes me nervous every time. It makes me feel a little bit like, ooh, I'm stepping out on a ledge. What if my ideas just don't come? Maybe I'm too tired today. Maybe I haven't thought enough about this exercise, and now that we're here, I'm just gonna freeze. And I don't have too many concerns about that because I feel like that's a genuine, honest reaction, and I can use that as a teaching tool and fold it into what we're doing. But even so, we all, I think, want to be impressive sometimes. Like we want to look like we know what we're doing, especially in front of people who have paid to do this experience. So that's a little bit of an uncertainty. That's a little bit of a risk that I'm welcoming people into, and I'm asking them to take on with me. And so far it's worked out just fine. But you could take that one example and magnify it into a bunch of different opportunities to try something and fall flat on your face, or, succeed but it looks awkward. It's like, even if I succeed but it looks awkward, that's still success. That is maybe not the entirety of what I set out to do, but it is effective. It is effective. So I think there are days where I just need to know that I'm doing stuff. I need to be productive. But in the grand scheme, what's really more important to me is to be effective at what I do. Steve says, for the record, the song you created yesterday was a lot of fun, and I hope to hear it at Republic of Pi soon. Yeah, that might happen. Thanks, Steve. Steve was at yesterday's workshop, so we wrote songs together. It was the two of us and two girls under the age of 13, which was really fun. We had a great time all writing songs together. And it worked out. It worked out. But there's always that, you prepare as much as you can. You do everything that you can to succeed in anything you do. And then sometimes you have your moment of truth. You just show up and you see how it goes. So if you're feeling that today, I just hope that helps you process it and get perspective on it. As an entrepreneur, there's also a lot of effort around kind of creating the creative path that I want. So uniquely, as a person who basically I don't have work unless I go get it. So there are opportunities periodically to just say, okay, am I doing the work that I want to be doing? Who can I be intentional about connecting with? Who do I want to collaborate with? And who can I get to pay me for that? And there are special businessy names and words that go with all of those things, but the main point of it is you gotta come up with the path that you want to follow, and then just start walking it and see who you need to talk to, who you need to convince to join you on that path. So this is a new song that I'm going to play for you. I started writing it with my friend Hans years ago. And then actually in the song finishing workshop, I finished it. And I think it goes really well with this topic of effectiveness and productivity, and I want to share it with you. So this might be the first time Hans is hearing it, actually. Hans is an actor and really understands the concept of trying. You do what you know to be effective. And sometimes you send one letter and you get a great role. Sometimes you do one audition, you get a great role. Other times you do 500 auditions and you still just can't get the role that you're looking for. But either way, you just have to keep trying. You have to audition. You have to connect with people and become the best at what you do that you can possibly be. And the concept of that is sending out ships, like all of your ventures, all of your emissaries that are going out into the world and creating opportunities for you. We use that metaphor of ship sending. So the name of this song is Ships. That's not how it starts. When you dare to cross the sea with hurricanes, pirates, and monsters, don't take the easy way out and hide. I'm not in the business of playing it safe. My purpose is to succeed. If nothing is ventured, nothing is gained. Adventure is the whole name of the game. me. It's hard to keep faith, but I will wait as I send everyone on its way. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Salty air, the crashing waves, treacherous and wild in their nature. Doesn't it make your heart race and rise? I've already lost, I've already won, scared I will lose again. If nothing is lost, what can be found? I'm honor bound, worry can't get me now. There's more that's at stake than dollars and cents. These ships represent everything, everything. They call me a sender of ships. Sender of ships will I be, through all of the dangers, wonders, and snares. I know somewhere my fortune waits for me, waits for me there. It is hard to keep faith, but I will wait as I send, keep my eyes on the sea. The eyes of the world are on me. Off you go. Off you go. Go on now. Come back to me. Come back to me. But I know you have your own story. So there you go. As we risk and as we try and as we evaluate the results of our efforts, let's embrace the adventure of it. Because the thing is that in our evaluation, it's not always easy to tell if you've been effective. You can tell that you've been productive. You can see, oh, I had this effort that I planned to do. I had these 3 ships that I was going to outfit and send off to the far reaches of whatever islands I seek to trade with. I can tell when I've done those things, but it's really difficult sometimes when you're in the middle of an effort to evaluate your effectiveness. It just is. It is really tough. And then sometimes there are payoffs that are just not directly connected to your efforts. Whew, I have experienced that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love when people spontaneously send me money. That's great. It's great to just be thought of and to be the object of someone's generosity. But if it's not directly connected to one of my business endeavors, that can be tough to take. It doesn't always make me feel effective, even if it is actually a result of work that I didn't even know I was doing, just being myself, showing up in the world, trying to help people. So I just say that in case it mirrors your experience. How do you feel when you get what you want, but not the way that you expected it? I might do a whole episode on that topic. Honestly, it's tough for me. I'm not a fan. I really want to see what I'm doing pay off. I want to see that I did this thing, I had this great idea, I did this work, and it resulted in this cool thing that I wanted. But often, I mean, I'm not going to say that never happens, but often I just wind up with this cool thing and I'm like, what did I do to make this happen? How do I repeat it? It's not always that straightforward. But we like a little mystery in life, don't we? Feeds into the surprise of it all. I don't know. Maybe tell me what you think. What do you think about that? Do you like a little mystery or a lot of mystery? All right, friends. This song is called "The Story Is Not Over." And I really believe that that is the case for all of us. And the whole process of whatever adventure we are pursuing. And if you haven't heard this song before, it involves 3 different fairy tales. So I invite you to try to figure out what each one is in each verse. Locked in oh shoot, I always forget this first line. Okay, here we go. I got it. Thank you. Locked behind bars of her fixed circumstances, she sings through the forest while gazing outside. Stranded but hopeful, she waits through the boredom, watching horizons and biding her time. But the story's not over, the end's yet to come. She can let her hair down when love comes around. Locked in a tower as high as the sky, as she watches the world pass by. Stuck in a room full of great expectations, she drops all pretenses and has a good cry. Overwhelmed by the sheer impossibilities, bound by a promise and caught in a lie. But the story's not over, the end's yet to come. There's beauty and grace in this dreadful place, spinning and spinning and spinning again. Who knows what will happen then? Laden with purpose and burning with mission, she marches through treacherous paths in the wild. Waylaid by cunning and cruel devices, she falls for a trap laid by dangerous minds. But the story's not over, the end's yet to come. Those monsters at night are more bark than bite. The story's not over, the end's yet to be. Look beyond what the eye can see. And so, my dear listener, when you hear this song, remember your tale. Whoops. And so, my dear listener, when you hear this song, remember your tale is still going on. Steve has one last thought for us. I feel like the way things turn out is almost never the way I expect. So if I come out on top, I don't question it too much. I think that's a wise skill to learn. I usually have to coach myself through that mentality. I have to get there. It's not my first reaction. But either way, you know what? It's excitement. It's a surprise. It's new and different. It's an adventure. And it's part of that game of life that we play every day. If you would like to participate in this discussion on the unknowns and how you feel effective and when you feel productive and which one you're feeling at this particular moment in time, won't you come join us on Facebook? There's a Facebook group called Adventurous Spirits. You just go to facebook.com/groups/adventurous spirits, all one word. And there's a little bit of a quiz to get in. I just want to know a little bit more about you. But it's not tough. I just want to invite you into this conversation beyond today's episode. And then also, if you would like to support what I'm doing here and be part of my music journey as I learn these life lessons and write songs about them, won't you come on over to patreon.com/Cortney Matz and become one of my beloved patrons. You can get access to new songs and also weigh in on the process of what goes into this podcast. And so it's a fun place. There's some great people in that group. And if you've enjoyed yourself today, don't forget to like the video or whatever you do on Apple Podcasts to say I enjoyed this. Do you give it a heart? Is that what you do on Apple Podcasts? Someone who knows about Apple, tell us. I think it does something for the algorithm, which is always helpful for new people discovering the podcast. Thank you all for being here today. I hope that you got something good out of it. And I hope to see you next time. Actually, next week, I'm taking a break for Independence Day. It's July 4th, next Tuesday. But I'll be back the week after that with episode 27. Meanwhile, you have fun out there.